right now in one of the biggest Roman cities and complexes ever to exist on the face of the earth. It is absolutely insane. It's called Timgad in Algeria. And essentially, it's just immaculate. Like, there are 14 baths and 12 temples inside this entire complex where the Romans used to live.
Namaste, Galactic Family. Welcome back to the channel IndigoAngel. Come on into this dimension where today I am going to take you on a special journey to a place in Algeria called Timgad. And Timgad is probably one of my most favorite places that I visited in Algeria. It is a massive Roman archaeological site. It's an ancient Roman city in Batna, Algeria. And at this archaeological site, I am actually going to run a Gridwork, boots on the ground, on location, activation at the Temple of Jupiter. So you're going to want to stay tuned to the end of this video to see this very special moment here where I work with the living active energy at the Temple of Jupiter. It was a very activated area, probably the most energetically living part of the grid, the Roman living grid here in this archaeological site. So stay tuned for that moment. It's a very special moment in the video that I want to share with you. But also, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notifications bell, put a big like on this video, comment on this video, share this video out, guys, as Timgad is truly magnificent. It is an archaeological wonder that is, like I just said, running a living Roman grid in North Africa. Yet, it is an underrated archaeological site. Not many people actually know about it. In fact, I never knew about it until I came to Algeria and actually have been hanging out with, you know, the locals and the people that have been living here all their lives. They told me to go to Timgad, and so my close circle took me here to this place. But a lot of people don't know about it. And in fact, what's crazy about Timgad is it completely supersedes the vast dynamicism of even that of Palatine Hill in Rome. Now, you may have seen my most recent Gridwork session with my Guardian team. I posted this on YouTube previously, where we remoted psychically into Timgad to run a clearing, to run a cleansing on and within the energies of this complex, as I did pick up on still a lot of stuck energy when visiting the site boots on the ground. But in this remote session, what we were doing is we were scanning in to see what energies we could pick up on as a group and clear as much reversal energy as possible, as there is still a lot of contention in the living grids of Algeria. There is still a lot of invader energy, colonizer energy, all of it. And so in this remote session, we wanted to clear that energy, and basically we came to see connection points between Timgad and Rome, that there were energetic passageways, inner earth portals, and just ley lines between Timgad and Rome that needed to be cleared. There were also inner earth passageways, energetically speaking, to and from Carthage, underground tunnels to Carthage, as there's an entire Roman history as to why it's connected to Carthage in the first place, which I'll probably get into. I did in some previous videos, but in some updates to come, I'll kind of go into more of the history with Carthage. It's a pretty extensive history with Carthage that is why Timgad is even here in the first place, following the demise of Carthage ultimately. But in that remote session, we really seen a lot of satanic ritual abuse being conducted at these temples inside of Timgad. child slavery and sacrificial rituals. We've seen a huge energetic Roman military presence, dark military and military abuse, calling in negative ET tech. And also at this location, there seems to be a lot of connections to the circus, connections to the theater, and several energy distortions that were birthed through circus and theater acts, as the theater was a very highlighted aspect at this archaeological site. The complex seemed to have one massive theater and then another theater that sat out on the outskirts of Timgad, which is very interesting as to why there's two massive theaters just within this small location here. And so the theaters played a very important role in this community, and really how globally this may have impacted the distraction campaigns of current day Hollywood, that a lot of this was descended through Roman philosophy, Roman mythology, Roman impact on the world. So to clear Timgad energetically, we brought in a lot of blue light, justice light, the transformative light, to help clear what negative imprints may still currently be haunting this complex, impacting all of the current energies and oppression aspects of Algeria, as they're still fighting aspects. Even though this is now a free country, they're still fighting many aspects of the colonizer and invading energies, which, given the Romans, were a part of that. They were a part of that narcissistic colonizing energy over the original founding Algerian natives. And so we wanted to work to release some of those distortions through the grid work. But in this last remote video session, Gridworker session that we did, you only got the perspective from the map, which I'm going to put this image up for you here so you can see this aerial viewpoint of what we were working on. And also I'm going to include some pictures from the book that I studied a lot while I was in Algeria. It is a great resource for all of the Roman history that is scattered throughout North Africa, and so I will leave that book down in the description. I really recommend getting it if you are wanting to study more of North Africa and the Roman impact on North Africa, and so that book will be down in the description. It's just the aerial view here that does not even begin to give this Roman archaeological site justice. I know we were scanning in like this, but really in person, boots on the ground, grid work, this is a very impressive complex, truly. And I did have a lot of appreciation for being able to go and experience this here. When I came in person, it was absolutely amazing. I was amazed. So yes, there's a lot of negative energy to be released, but the impressiveness of the structures, the technology, how they built the gridding template of this archaeological site, it is next level, you guys, which left the complex still feeling very alive as you were walking through it. So Timgad, this was actually considered a military settlement responsible for keeping watch against resistant Berber tribes, native Algerian tribes that were not so easily absorbed into the colonized regime, the new current way of life in Algeria, as many colonizers, like I said, have come before. So, you know, before Algeria has been bequested by the Byzantine Empire, the Numidians, which it is said that the Numidians actually were the ones that built this Roman archaeological site for the Romans. So the Romans contracted some Numidians to build it for them. The colonizers seem to be in with each other, okay? They were colonized by the Romans and also the French, okay? The French. And so it's been a relentless battle of outsiders seeking to want to come in and ultimately dominate this territory. Again, going back to the history of Carthage and why the Romans are here. But essentially, you know, their current time colonizer influence is the French. And I have to tell you guys, the French have rubbed me the wrong way a couple times already, just being in Algeria, getting a sense of their ownership, their sense of feeling like they have some sort of say in this country. They can be very rude, they can be very pushy, and they tend to like to use the beliefs of the Algerian people to like guilt things against them to make them feel inferior to the French. This is still going on current day. So it was a very interesting dynamic, and I may get into that in another energy update in more detail. And I don't have anything against the French or French people, but you know, there's a light and a dark, it seems, with everything, with every flip of the coin. And one of the dark baggage that the French are carrying is this entitlement to Algeria.
So one thing that the Romans are really known for is their honorations to the gods. And because they were very pagan, they worshipped all of the planets. And so the main temple here in this entire complex at Timgad is the Temple of Jupiter. So, yeah, I want to go check it out, so come with me.
The Romans were honestly the most exquisite with their presence of what they've left here in Algeria, for sure. Timgad, they built this entirely functional city, and within this city, you can see within the shots here, and you can see within the overview of this picture here as well, that these squares that you see within the grid, these are beautiful 2,000 square foot homes that came with indoor gardens, they came with water wells, they came with individual front door entrances. I mean, the Romans' homes, they were living very nicely. You know, I could see myself taking a floor plan here and living in one of these homes. So the structures of the homes of the people in the communities were very nice, and they ranged from higher class rich people all the way to lower class. The lower class maybe having like 1 or 2 rooms, all the way to the higher class having, 7 to 8 rooms within their 2,000 square foot home. So it was really interesting to see the differentiation of class homes within all of the space.
As you get closer to this temple, you can start to really feel the power of Jupiter. You can actually feel all of the vibration like running through the bricks and through the stones. So yeah, the energy is getting a lot more intense as we get closer to this temple.
Attraction to this site was that the city primarily had bathhouses. So they had 14 in the entire city, to be exact, as the Romans really loved to bathe, you guys. They got it on in those hot waters. They had hot water, of course. They would warm up the water with these giant infernal rooms, and the bathhouses were very extensive, more well thought out and designed than one could possibly imagine for this timeline in which they lived and ruled. And you'd be thinking that they were on some caveman stuff, like it wasn't very good, like the design of the quality. But no, these bathhouses were extremely high tech and functional, and these bathhouses were like spas. So if you lived in Timgad at this time where this site was popping and the city and the community was popping, basically you could go and actually spend like 2 or 3 days enjoying your time. The bathhouses were somewhat like resorts. Okay, and so I mean, people would go and they would check in, and they would like spend their days in these bathhouse resorts. Another interesting fact about Timgad is that the city also contained a library. They had a huge love for learning. There was an area here that was a huge library that actually held over 3,000 books. And within the library, they held a statue of Minerva. So they honored Minerva within the library. the Minerva's legend with the Romans is felt in many places in Algeria. It's not just Timgad. They also have the Temple of Minerva in Tebessa at the Caracalla Gate. They just truly honored Minerva's energy. They like to utilize this high form of the goddess for power, for law, for intelligence, for legalities, for really the draconian law that they anchored in. But ultimately, they're, tapping off of the resources of Minerva, who the goddess Minerva, as we know, has descended down a long list of goddesses such as Athena, Neith, Tanit, and possibly even Tin Hinan, the matriarchal goddess herself, which we're going to get in future videos that I'm currently putting together for you guys. We're going to talk about the matriarchal influence of Tin Hinan.
So I'm almost wondering what they did underneath here. I think they lit fires. So if you come through here, they have these like areas underneath the temple that they must have had like sacred fires, like resurrected to this god, which would be epic. So when you come to these really sacred temples, one of the best things to do is to leave an offering to that temple and to that god. And because I didn't have time to actually prepare anything, I'm just going to take off my necklace, which is an amethyst crystal that I got right before the trip. And the whole time I've been really charging it with my energy, with my intent, with my desires, with my wishes, with my dreams, with my goals. And so I'm just going to say a little prayer with this, and I'm actually going to leave it at the temple.
So yeah, the Romans really capitalized off of their version of this goddess warrior, which is Minerva, which Minerva, has continued to make her impact politically all over the world, as her symbolism is also very prominent in Washington, D.C. in the Capitol building. In Timgad, this city also contained a massive theater. So we talked about the impact of this theater. The theater technology was also very advanced. They had a sound reverberation that is installed at the base of the theater that runs through the first row of the seating and also radiates out from the ground, giving a surround sound effect to support the theatrical talents that performed. They really did think of everything when it came to all aspects of their life. Obviously, entertainment was a big thing for them. They wanted to get their theatrical acts right. And it's just, honestly, the whole place, it was very impressive how advanced everything was. I found myself multiple times visualizing myself actually living here, as if I could see myself finding comfort in the way the city was designed, knowing that I would have been taken care of adequately, even almost according to today's standards and current ways of comfort and current times of life. Having hot water, having a nice beautiful home, having even a possible very comfortable bed in my very own bedroom, inside and next to a garden and a little water well. So that probably was the most exciting part for me, as if it activated some past life recalling of my existence here in these times. Really, the most exciting part for me was the temples to the planetary bodies. This was a huge aspect. There's 12 temples in the city total. The most grand was the Temple of Jupiter. There was also the temple to Mercury. They had the temple to Juno. They had the temple to Saturn. I do believe there was a temple to Venus. Very similar again to Palatine Hill.
If I had known that I could come down inside the temple, I would have come with flowers like baby's breath, tulips, and probably roses as more of like a sacred offering. But since I don't have those things, I'm just going to use my intent to ground my energies in this temple and utilize the ley lines to continue to clear the negative energy out of North Africa according according to colonization and what the Romans did. So follow me to the other side. I'll tell you more about it. So now that I'm actually in between the two columns, I'm definitely gonna clear narcissistic templating, because that's technically what colonizers have. They're like narcissists that come in and invade other places. So yeah, I'm definitely gridding this area right now with a lot of positive intent to clear that karma and trauma from the record books of history, basically. I'm also going to check on my crystal.
Now I wanted to say thank you for watching this special tour of Timgad. It's truly one of the biggest Roman archaeological sites in the entire world. And I think if more people knew about it, they would come to visit. As I do think that tourism is not a big thing for Algeria. And so I just want to give as much love and support as I can to Algeria for people to come and see the vast archaeological wonders that they truly have here. As I was one of the only ones here in this entire complex when I went to go explore it. So don't get me wrong, I love having a place all to myself, but I feel many others would enjoy these beautiful blessings of what has come before us to understand more of our world history. So if you can, come and take a trip to Timgad. And I just want to say I appreciate all of the donations for that Algeria trip, for creating the content here in North Africa. These donations have gone to great use. And if you feel inclined to donate at this time, I do have more content coming for you guys. So I will leave the tip jar down in the description, as these trips and these journeys are very extensive. So making our way to film all of these intricate and dynamic clips to share this with you, we appreciate all the support we can get from you. And again, guys, there's more content to come. So we're going to be bringing forward the Teen Hinon art piece, as we did visit her gravesite. And we're going to be putting out a making of the Teen Hinon video as well. So stay tuned, and please be sure to check out our Gridwork Facilitator course, as we are about to launch the second Gridwork Facilitator course 2 at the end of January. So we are currently taking spots for the new course enrollment, and we're beginning to fill this for the end of January. You don't want to miss this, as we're going to be extending all of the information from Facilitator 1 and going and expanding more into further dynamics of grid work, and upgrading people to that facilitator status, so that way they can conduct their remote facilitation or boots on the ground grid work with having the proper training, the proper etiquette, the proper vocabulary, the proper organization. Let us help you get there. And we're so excited. We do gridwork mentorships all the time, so you can find these courses for gridwork at learn.indigoangel222.com. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you guys in that course, and we love you all so much. Namaste. Have a beautiful everything.